Welcome, ladies of the Ton, to the Mr. and Mrs. quiz for Helen's Hen Party. I hope you're having a great time. I'm going to read out some questions and give out the answers after Ellie has paused. A bit like Big Fat Quiz of the Year. So let's start. This is round one, all about Helen. Question one is, what is Helen's favourite film? I would have gone with The Mummy. She watches it quite often. And next question is Helen's favourite meal. I'm going to be quite specific with this because I'm not entirely sure, but her favourite curry is buttered chicken from Lanark. Next up is Helen's favourite song. We do not listen to a lot of music, but the one we sing probably the most is Hello from the Book of Mormon. Every time we hear a doorbell ring, we start the song, basically. Next up, what one thing would Helen take for her desert island experience? I would say her crochet needles, which would be quite useful. Could even use them for hunting. Next up, we have her shoe size, 7. Don't we gave you long enough to pause there. Her favourite pizza topping. That would definitely be seafood pizza. That's the one we always go for. Her favourite alcoholic drink. We don't really drink much in our downtime, but most often if we're going to have people round and it's a bit of a party, we go for frozen cocktails. Always nice to have. And her first impression of me. I believe it was, shit, he's tall, as I unfolded out of a taxi on our first date. That's it for round one. Next we have round two, all about Ed. So let's start. Question one, what is Edward's favourite film? Not entirely sure myself, to be honest, but probably Father's Day. It's a really weird film that feels like it should have ended about an hour and a half before it did, but somehow gets better and better. Next up, Edward's favourite meal? Probably a turkey leg, but I always eat them alone at home in shame, because it's just gross watching someone eat a turkey leg, isn't it? Like some sort of weird Royal King Henry thing. Edward's favourite song? Probably go with Tribute. It's a good song. By Tenacious D. One of the few times I'm not wearing a Tenacious D shirt. What would Edward take to a desert island? Probably a speaker loaded with all my audiobooks. Like, I need something in the background. Even when I walk around the house, if I'm in silence, then something's gone terribly wrong. Next up is Edward's shoe size. 13.5, which we could not get for the wedding shoes. So rocking a size 13 and just crying into a pillow between speeches. Edward's favourite pizza topping, which is just a meat feast with pineapple. I want all the meat and then a bit of pineapple, to be healthy. Next up, Edward's favourite alcohol drink, which is, there's 3 runners really. There's toffee vodka, AU vodka, or prickly pear juice are probably the 3 I'd accept on that one. And first impressions of Helen. Thought she was very cute when I first saw her, and she had a lovely accent and voice. It was proper Blackpool accents, which is not the accent I just did. On to round 3, Nosy Nosy. So first question is, who wears the trousers in the relationship? I'd have said it's more of a democracy, but probably Helen gets last say on anything. Because I allow it. Helen's celebrity crush. Given how much she watches The Mummy, probably definitely Brendan Fraser. Yeah, I'd go Brendan Fraser. Ed's celebrity crush. It took a while to think about. I don't watch much TV, but probably Alison Brie from Community. I like that show. Helen's guilty pleasure, which I'm going to lump in with my guilty pleasure as well. I'd say it was Love Island. We've watched a lot of Love Island. Same with Below Deck, but I feel like Love Island's more of a guilty pleasure. Helen's worst habit? Probably scrolling while we watch movies, I'd say. Especially if it's a movie I really like and I put on and then I see she's on her phone. So I'll do kind of an audio description thing usually. Ed's worst habit? I'd say either forgetting to do things like put the bin out on a night, or most likely leaving empty cans about of iron brew, not beer. Yeah, iron brew usually. I drink far too much of that. Next question is, item of Helen's clothing that Ed dislikes the most? I cannot really think of one. She's got some really fluffy socks that don't feel very nice. That's probably it. And Edward's item of clothing that Helen dislikes the most? I have a definite answer for this one. It's I bought like a pair of underwear because they're good underwear. And there's one pair where the waistband has like detached from the rest of the underwear and it rides up really high and it looks like I've got a thong or something on. And Helen does not like the look. Yeah. The next one is Helen's fear. I'd say mostly loud random noises, especially during the night. Like if I wake up and knock something over while trying to get a drink of water, she'll wake up in a blur and scream. Or if I just randomly make a noise while sat on the couch or in the kitchen. Also quite startling. My biggest fear? It'd be spiders. Yeah, definitely spiders. Not a fan. Next up, we have Helen's most embarrassing moment. Which, not too sure how she'd be happy about people knowing this, but we were doing a lockdown New Year's Eve party. And during a game of Truth or Dare after a few drinks, Helen was dared to strip to her underwear, go in the garden and make a snow angel. Because it was like the first time it snowed in years from what I can remember. And she did. She went, stripped down, went in the garden, did a snow angel. I pointed the camera to the stairwell so no one could see her, but they could hear her like screaming and me laughing. The only problem was she ran back into the house to get warm and ran straight into the stairwell and stood there shivering, which is directly where I just put the camera. She was not pleased. And everyone on the video call found it quite funny. Edward's most embarrassing moments probably on the same night. There's not sure if they got a video or a screen capture of it, but I projectiles vomited like I was in The Exorcist across the couch after Helen had gone to bed at least. So most of my vague memories of the night are trying to clean that up, which was great. Next up we have round 4, the memory round. Question 1 for round 4 is, when was the first date? I'm famously terrible with my memory, but I'm pretty sure it was late April. It was definitely after my birthday. So late April, early the month after. The next up we have, describe the first date. We went to Blackpool Zoo on one of Blackpool's most tropical days. It was really nice. We had a wander around. We found it lovely that they let the elephants go and watch the sea lions. And then afterwards, I made the dubious choice of getting into Helen's car and she drove us to a Wetherspoons in town where we had a dinner. But Helen managed to eat probably less than a fifth of a meal, which I found worrying. But luckily it was just nerves because I cannot survive without eating. And then I went home. It was a lovely day. Next up, we have, who said I love you first? I'm pretty sure this was Helen, because I have a memory of like, just as I was waking up in the morning, Helen whispered I love you in, I'm guessing my general direction. She might have been looking at Instagram or something, but I'm pretty sure she said it to me. I'm not sure if she knows I heard that. Next up is, where was the first kiss? Our first kiss was in Liverpool on a bench at the end of third or fourth day, I think. We'd had a nice day around Liverpool. We tried to go ice skating, but it turned out the ice skating rink did not exist. So we ended up in some dodgy industrial estate for a while before getting back to the centre of Liverpool, where we eventually missed the last train back to Blackpool. Which was awkward to explain to her parents in a Wetherspoon that she was trapped with the random man she'd met on the internet. Next up, we have, when did you know they were the one? Probably after surviving 3 years in a quarantine and not hating each other. I think that was probably it for a lot of people, to be honest. It was a very intense time to be the first time you're living with someone. And finally for this round, we have describe the proposal. I'd say it was a lovely walk around the Royal Park, I think it was. They have some nice fountains and things. We had a bit of a picnic on a bench, walked around, and I proposed next to a nice fountain that went into a river. And this was after 2 days of trying to find the right time to propose and not managing it at all, and ending up panicking on the final day. So I think it was an hour before we were on the train home. That's round 4. Next up, we have round 5, the wedding round. So there's only 2 questions in this round. What are you most nervous for with the wedding? For me, this would be the dance. We spent a lot of time practicing the dance, and I'm worried about forgetting a step or mixing up the order of things, or just looking weird. Next up is, what are you most excited for? Besides the meeting of all the friends and family and having a lovely great party, the barbecue. Definitely the barbecue. We're going to have a great barbecue with vol au vents. There's going to be like weird sausages, chicken wings stuff. It's going to be nice. Burger sliders. Yeah. We're going to make sure they put a big package aside in the wedding room for us. Right, that concludes the wedding quiz for his and hers. I hope Helen did well and I managed to get most of them right. I imagine not for the beginning part of the quiz. But I hope you're having a great hen do and have a lovely time. And I can't wait to see you again on Monday when we're both horrifically hungover.